Hey there Disney Glam and Ghoulish fam, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jasem, aka AwesomeJasem, and I want to thank you for clicking on my video. On this channel, we like to celebrate Disney, beauty, fashion, and lifestyle. So if you like any or all of those things, consider bibbidi-boppity-bopping that subscribe button, ring the bells of notification so you're instantaneously notified when I post something new, and please leave a big old thumbs up at the end of this video if you liked it all the way through. Now today I have an extra special video for you guys. Yes, I am collaborating with some amazing Disney YouTube content creators. This specific collaboration was put together by Mari and Toni over at the SisketEars, and as soon as they told me about it, I jumped in. It sounded like so much fun. So the requirements to this collaboration were very simple. We were all just required to carve and showcase a holiday pumpkin inspired by Disney. So again, if you couldn't tell by the title or by my thumbnail, we're gonna be showcasing how to create your very own Mike Wazowski pumpkin. And we are here. So yes, we have a new scenery. I am in my kitchen. I wanted to go ahead and showcase to you guys with some space how to create your very own Mike Wazowski holiday pumpkin. Now, first things first, you're gonna need a few items to complete this project. Of course, you can't have a pumpkin without a pumpkin. So I went to Target and found this little baby. You're gonna wanna find one that's nice, big, round. I actually got one that has like a flat back, so for me it's easy to kind of lay down while I carve the face. But it's not necessary. If you're fairly good with carving, then you can get yourself a perfectly round pumpkin. Also, in terms of tools, you're gonna need some knives. Now, if you're underage, please go ahead and have parent supervision with this. I do have safety guards on mine all the time just because I know I'm klutz, and sometimes you can really hurt yourself if you're not too careful. Now, this one's trying to get away. I did pick up some of these different carving tools at Target as well. So we have a small blade, we have a scooper for the inside of the pumpkin, and then also a template puncher. So those are some different things. And then the last thing that I think I'm going to use is actually a potato peeler. So if you have one of these lying on hand, go ahead and grab it. I did opt for a smaller one. That way it's easier for me with the intended use that I'm going to be doing later. Now, in terms of decoration for the pumpkin, you will need a few other craft supplies. So of course, just a pair of cutting shears. You're going to need different paints so we can paint the pumpkin. I did pick up Mike Wazowski like green. This is actually called Parsley from Crime Coat. Got this at Target. I also did pick up a navy blue color. This is going to be for his eye. We do have some black just for some different accents, and of course white in case I need. Now, in terms of painting, you're going to need different style paintbrushes. I did get a sponge tip brush. That way I can use that for the entire color of his body, and then some detailed brushes for, again, the detailed work. Last but certainly not least, you will need some craft foam. I got this in white, and your trusty hot glue gun. That way we can create the little horns at the very end and really give Mike Wazowski the face that he deserves. Are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and jump right in. I went ahead and cleared the space of all the unnecessary tools and just kept all of my carving equipment since that's what we're gonna do first. So as you all probably know, we're gonna go ahead and cut a small circle or square around the top of your pumpkin. You're gonna want to create a space that you can easily carve all of the insides out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that in fast mode. One pro tip is you're gonna wanna make sure that when you're carving either yourself or the adult, just make sure when you're actually piercing the pumpkin, you wanna make sure that your knife is facing away from you, just in case anything, if there's any slips, of course it's gonna go outwards and not towards you. So be very mindful to that. Of course, safety is key here. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this, then find someone else who can do it for you. All right, so I went ahead and created a square cut on the top where my stem is. I'm gonna go ahead and try to shimmy it on up and out. Now this, you might need a little bit of extra strength for. You wanna be careful not to rip your stem too much, just because that's almost like a little handle for you when you actually get it out. So I inserted my knife and kind of propped up the top, and here we go. Here's the fun part. So now that our pumpkin is open, you're gonna wanna go ahead and take your scraping tool and just scrape all of those insides out. Oh my gourd, that was a lot of filling. After you went ahead and cleaned the insides of your pumpkin out, go ahead and take a soft, damp paper towel and clean the entire outside of your pumpkin.
We don't work with dirty pumpkins here. We like to work with clean pumpkins and clean hands.
So after I went ahead and did that, next comes the carving part of his eyes and...
Not eyes, there's only one eye. Mike Wazowski has one eye. Why did I say two eyes? Eyes like plural, I don't know.
His eye, and we're gonna go ahead and carve out his mouth. Now I'm gonna insert a clip of a reference photo that I'm following right here. Some people like to print out some sort of template to use on their pumpkins. Since this is a fairly simple design, I'm just gonna go ahead and freehand it. I really hope that it comes out the way that I'm anticipating, but without further ado, let me show you how I'm gonna go ahead and carve this pumpkin. So I'm taking a small juice glass. This one is one of my favorites because it was gifted to me by my friend Erika. Thank you, Erika Heath. And I am going to look at the front of my pumpkin and figure out where I want the pupil of Mike Wazowski. So I want to make sure that I have it high enough that it's visible for people while it's sitting, but also to make sure that there's room for his mouth. So I am probably going to find the center and base it right there. I'm taking a soft pink pen and just kind of eyeballing it and tracing the pupil of Mike Wazowski. Now it's okay if a little bit of pen marks are on your pumpkin because we're actually going to be painting that part. So I just gave myself a rough sketch on where I want his pupil to be. Now when we carve this out, we're actually going to leave the bottom connected. So I'm going to kind of just use my thumb to erase a little bit of that part right there. And there you go, we have the circle. Once you have your circle, we're gonna take the pen and sort of freehand the iris, no, not the iris, the white part of the eye around where his white part would be.
Oh my god, this is why I do beauty and I'm not a doctor. We're not optometrists because clearly I don't even know what that's called. Is it an iris? No, the iris is the colored part. The white part is what? Just an eyeball. I think it's an eyeball. I need to figure what this out. I need to figure what this is.
Sclera, everybody. Thank you, Google. Sclera is the majority of the white part around your pupil and iris. Alright, so I know we're up very, very close, but I wanted to quickly show you how the pumpkin was looking. So, again, this circle is going to be his iris. And this is what I traced with the juice cup, and this is what I freehanded around of the Scarla, oh my god, I don't even remember what it was. Whatever it is, I'll leave it right here. And this is also what we will be using to kind of shave off. So let's go ahead and get back into this. So in my reference art, there is like a sparkle in Mike Wazowski's eye. So I am actually going to be using my measuring teaspoons. The smallest one, of course, this is the 1/4 teaspoon. And I am going to just replicate that circle. Again, I'm going to use the technique with my pen. Since it is light enough, you're not really going to see it. Also, we're going to be painting over, so there we go. So we have the secondary circle right off the corner of his iris. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and start to shave and carve out the areas that I want to carve from his eye. Then we're going to move down to his mouth. To pair out this area right around the iris, and we left the iris protruding again because this is where we're going to actually paint. I did cut out the sparkle in Mike's eye, and now what I'm going to do to help create a more transparent look to this, I'm actually going to go back in with the scraper and start to dig out some of the filling of the pumpkin, or the walls of the pumpkin, so that way it makes it a little bit thinner, and when I put the light inside, it's going to sparkle through. Alright, so now that we're back, we're going to go ahead and focus in on Mike Wazowski's mouth. Now, in the same pattern that I did his eye, I'm going to replicate it to his mouth in turns. I'm going to go ahead and trace out, again visually, just my interpretation of his mouth. And actually the hollow of his mouth will be hollow, again, like the shining part of his eye, and his teeth are going to be more so shaved out like this area. So, without further ado, let's just get right in. We are going to be painting this puppy. So I did go ahead and pull out the green that we're going to be using, the sponge applicator brush, as well as a defined painting brush. Now this I'm just going to use to kind of help guide and outline around the mouth area, but besides that I'm going to be using this sponge applicator for the most part. Now, it goes without saying, go ahead and lay down some paper before you start, so that way you don't get paint everywhere and just have some fun. dried, we're gonna go ahead and do a second layer of the green so Mike is super vibrant. So I realized that my camera cut out and it completely didn't get me filling in the eye as well as the teeth. So when you have the opportunity, once the green dries, just go ahead and fill in the eye. I alternated between dark blue, light blue, a little bit of white and black just to give it more of a realistic look, and the teeth. And there you have it. That is how you create your very own Mike Wazowski inspired holiday pumpkin. Now, yes, off camera, I did fill in the pupil and just touched up a little bit of the paint. I threw on the horns that I made out of foam and just lightly painted them with a little bit of a yellowish brown tint. Now, of course, since I'm not actually putting a flame candle inside, I did throw on my Monsters University hat to the top of his head.
Because I actually didn't paint the stem part, I kind of forgot.
But it's okay because that is gonna go ahead and cover it, and I think it just gives it another element that adds to Mike Wazowski's charm. I had so much fun putting this together for you, and I really hope you guys have the opportunity of going and checking out all of the other amazing participants and all of the other amazing pumpkin creations that they showcased on their channel. We all collectively want to know which pumpkin was your favorite out of this entire collab. Now again, there's no sort of prize or actual placement of pumpkins, but we just want to give each other a little bit of bragging rights for this collaboration. So as soon as you've finished watching all of the other amazing Disney YouTube creators and their pumpkin carvings, come back, comment down in the comment section below which pumpkin was your favorite. As always, I really want to thank you all so much for tuning in and for watching. Stay beautiful, my friends. Stay safe this holiday season, but most importantly, have a magical day. Bye. We're rehearsing for that off-Broadway play. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Put that thing back where it came, so help me. Boom, 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 so help me, and cut! It still needs a little work, and we always need some ushers.